Ever get that feeling?
Yeah.
Like, you think you know a place, especially some sleepy little town,
Yeah.
you think you've got its rhythm down. But then something happens, a crack in that picture-perfect facade,
Yeah.
and you realize, oh, the quiet. It was all just surface level.
Yeah, exactly.
That's kind of what went down in Dawson's Edge
Mm-hmm.
when Margaret Elwood died. At first, everyone thought, tragic accident. But peel back a few layers, and whoa, boy, you find a story way more twisted, way more messed up than anyone in that town could have dreamed up. So buckle up, folks. This is your deep dive into pasted text, the account of, well, everything that went down.
Yeah, this source material, it lays it all out, doesn't it? Like every little detail about Margaret Elwood's case. And let me tell you, the deeper you go, the more you realize this was no simple twist of fate. We're talking tangled relationships, money problems you wouldn't believe, and discoveries, well, let's just say they're pretty disturbing. It all points to something way darker than anyone first thought.
Right. So let's rewind back to the beginning. The official story, as everyone first heard it, was a car accident. Straightforward right. Margaret Elwood's SUV found wrecked in Wren Hollow Creek. A bad storm raging, a sharp turn on a slick road. I mean, yeah, at first glance you could see why the cops would call it an accident. Open and shut.
Yeah.
But even right off the bat, something wasn't sitting right with the folks in Dawson's Edge, was it? The details were a little too off.
Oh, absolutely. Think about it. Margaret knew that road like the back of her hand, drove it every week for what, 20 years? It was practically a reflex for her. And then there's her husband, Pastor Everett Elwood. Now, the account paints a picture of a man who, let's just say, wasn't exactly overflowing with grief after his wife's death. He seemed, well, almost weirdly detached, wouldn't you say?
And here's a detail that just leaps out at you from the source material. The cremation. They cremated Margaret, like within 24 hours of the accident. Bam, gone. And get this, it went completely against her wishes. I mean, she specifically told her sister, and I'm quoting directly from the account here, if anything happens to me, don't let Everett cremate me.
Oh, wow.
That right there, that's a huge red flag, isn't it? Like, why the rush? Makes you wonder if Everett was trying to get rid of something he didn't want anyone finding.
It really does, yeah. I mean, what was he so worried about? And, as you read on, that suspicion, it just grows stronger when the financial side of things comes into play.
Oh, yeah, totally. Just 2 days after Margaret's death, Everett files a life insurance claim. A big one, too, $750,000. You might think, okay, that's normal, right? But Margaret's sister, well, she knew her sister, and she knew something was fishy. So she decides to contest that policy. And that, my friend, that's what really blows this whole thing wide open.
Yeah, that was the right move, wasn't it? Because when they went to check those insurance documents, guess what? The signature. Forged. Handwriting experts were all over it, and they were clear. That wasn't Margaret's John Hancock. And guess who that evidence leads right to? Vernon Gray. The church notary.
Now, Vernon, from what I gathered, seemed like a decent guy, longtime member of the church, But the poor guy was drowning in debt, bankruptcy breathing down his neck, facing foreclosure, the whole 9 yards. And then, like a miracle, Pastor Everett swoops in and pays off all those debts. Poof, gone.
Makes you wonder about the timing, right?
Yeah, very convenient. But the source here, it spells out exactly where that money came from, and this is where it gets interesting. You see, it wasn't some random act of kindness. That money came straight from a church fund, a secret one, controlled entirely by, you guessed it, Everett. So basically, what he did, he bought Vernon's silence, his cooperation. Vernon owed him big time. And when Everett came knocking, asking Vernon to forge that signature on the insurance documents, what was Vernon going to do? Say no? He was trapped? Everett had him right where he wanted him? It's just messed up,
Totally. It shows you how things can get twisted, even in a place that's supposed to be all about good. Power and manipulation, they can take root anywhere, can't they? And it's the people caught in the middle who really pay the price. And then there's that odd detail, the wedding ring.
Oh, yeah, the ring.
Yeah.
The account makes it clear that Margaret, she never took that thing off, never. So when they couldn't find it after the crash, well, it raised eyebrows. Of course, the official line was, oh, it must have gotten lost in the creek. Case closed. But those who knew Margaret, they weren't so sure.
And then, get this, 3 weeks after the funeral, the ring pops up. Just like that. Found the church offering plate. Polished, shiny, sitting right there on top of a crumpled $10 bill, almost like a little, I don't know, a little staged performance, a message.
Right. And the church, they had security cameras, right. And the footage showed someone hooded sneaking in early that morning, dropping something in that offering box. Now, the account mentions that Nora Hale, she was back in town that weekend, so Naturally, everyone's wondering, was it her? Was she trying to tell everyone, hey, something's not right here?
Yeah, it definitely throws a wrench in the whole accident theory, doesn't it? And speaking of Nora Hale, she was the choir director, right?
Right, she was. And then, all of a sudden, she quits. No explanation, just gone.
And let's be real. People had noticed her and Pastor Everett. They'd gotten pretty close. Late night meetings, texts all the time, always driving together. Small town, people talk.
Oh yeah, word gets around fast.
And Margaret, she wasn't blind to it. She even confronted Nora. Straight up asked her, is something going on between you and my husband? But Nora, she denied it, flat out. Until later, right? After Everett got arrested. That's when the truth came tumbling out. Nora confessed, told the cops about their, quote, close emotional relationship, a relationship that, well, turned physical. And her motive, chillingly simple. Margaret was in the way. Talk about a messed up love triangle.
Man, that's rough. And just when you think this story can't get any crazier, there's this. Margaret's ledger, found tucked away in the bench of the new church piano.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about hiding in plain sight.
You've got to wonder if she did that on purpose, don't you? Like she knew if something happened, someone would eventually find it.
Yeah, maybe. And that little spiral notebook, it wasn't just her personal diary, although it did have some of that. It was a record of all the financial hanky-panky she'd noticed going on at the church. Missing donations, secret funds, the whole shebang. She was clearly onto Everett, keeping tabs on his every move.
And it wasn't just the money either. Margaret was documenting his behavior too. The late-night visitors at his house, the strange cars she'd see. She even wrote down license plate numbers. Oh, and get this. She mentions a burner phone. She even wrote, and again I'm quoting here, he's talking to someone on a burner phone. I think it's Nora.
Wow. It's like she was piecing the whole puzzle together right up until the very end.
Absolutely. And then there's that note about a secret bank account. She wrote, there's a second account. I've seen the transfers. He's hiding something. I mean, that right there, that points to a whole other level of planning and deceit. It makes you wonder what else he was up to.
Right. But it's that final entry in her ledger, the last words she wrote, that really stick with you. If anything happens to me, look here first. He won't stop until he's caught. Chilling, right? She knew. She knew it was coming.
It totally changes the whole narrative, doesn't it? It wasn't just a random accident. She was afraid, and she was trying to leave a trail of breadcrumbs, hoping someone would see the truth. And the source material lays out the whole murder plan in gruesome detail.
Oh, it does. And when you look at the timeline of that night, it's all so meticulously planned. Like that phone call Everett made to Margaret, asking her to come back to the church, saying he'd forgotten his briefcase. He lured her right into his trap.
Then Vernon, remember him? He was already waiting inside the church, ready to do Everett's dirty work. They'd been talking, using that burner phone, of course. The whole thing was coordinated down to the minute.
And then they find traces of blood near the back stairwell of the church, and a discarded vial of sedatives in the trash. It's pretty clear that Margaret didn't go willingly. She was most likely drugged before she even left the church.
And the traffic camera footage seals the deal, doesn't it? You see Margaret's SUV leaving the church, and guess who's driving? Vernon. And Margaret's in the passenger seat. So much for the accident theory.
And they drove to that dirt bypass road, the one that leads straight to Wren Hollow Creek. And guess who showed Vernon that road? You got it, Everett. It was all planned, every single step.
The whole staged accident is horrifying, isn't it? Putting Margaret in the driver's seat, rigging the gas pedal with a cord, putting the car in drive, and then Vernon jumps out before it goes into the creek. It was all designed to look like a tragic mistake.
And after the car went in, Everett shows up. On foot, mind you.
Yeah.
He smashes the driver's side window using a window punch and pries the door open just enough to make sure the car floods quickly. And the whole time, he's wearing gloves. It's chilling how careful he was to make it look like an accident and cover his tracks.
But Margaret, she'd already played her hand, hadn't she? Her journal, it became the smoking gun. It gave the cops the motive and showed them just how deep Everett's deception went. But that hardware store footage, that was the nail in the coffin. 3 days before Margaret died, Everett bought industrial gloves and a window punch. Caught on camera.
And then they find the packaging for those very items in the church shed. Talk about sloppy. But it gave the cops everything they needed. They arrested Everett right in the middle of his Sunday sermon. Imagine that. And when they finally cuffed him, he just said so calmly, "So this is how it ends." Like he knew it was coming all along.
The trial was a media circus, of course. But the prosecution, they were ready. They presented all the evidence, the timeline, the forged documents, the forensics, and, of course, Nora's testimony. But the moment that really hit everyone was when they read Margaret's final journal entry out loud in court. If you're reading this, I didn't just crash. I knew. I just didn't know how to prove it. Powerful stuff.
Everett's lawyers tried to say that Margaret was, unstable, delusional. But the jury wasn't buying it. They deliberated for 6 hours. And then guilty on all counts. Life in prison, no parole. Justice was served, but it couldn't bring Margaret back.
No, it couldn't. And Dawson's Edge, well, they had to face the fallout. The church closed down 6 months later. A place meant for peace and faith turned into a crime scene. It left a scar on that town, that's for sure.
But there's this one thing, a small gesture that happens every year on the anniversary of Margaret's death. Someone, anonymously, leaves a single white lily on the steps of that abandoned church. It's like a silent tribute, a reminder that she's not forgotten.
So we started with what seemed like a simple car crash, right? And look where we ended up. A cold-blooded murder in a small town. Greed, lust, betrayal, it's all there. And Margaret, she was the one who paid the ultimate price.
It's amazing, isn't it, how all those little details, the cremation, the ring, the ledger, they all fit together to tell such a dark story. It makes you think, how much do we really know about the people around us and the places we think we know so well?
It really does. This whole case, it makes you wonder who's leaving that lily every year. And what does it mean? Is it guilt, remorse, or just a simple act of remembrance? It makes you think about the secrets people keep and the ways they try to make things right, even when it's too late. It's a reminder that some stories, they never really end. They just keep echoing long after the dust settles.
So, what do you think? Is there more to this story than meets the eye? Was justice truly served? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And hey, while you're there, subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next deep dive.
We'll see you next time, folks. Stay curious.
And stay safe out there.